If you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. This is another episode of Double Trouble for you, Dustin and Dylan. Yay. Alongside. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that notification bell down below and the subscribe button. Yeah, and the subscribe button to go ahead and keep up to date on everything we're doing. Follow us on social media at The Front Row LA. Today we have a very, very interesting episode of Double Trouble, and we've been.
This is the hardest prep.
Yeah, this
is hard.
We are doing with All-Star break coming up, we are doing the top 5 players of the first half or currently this season in the NBA. However, you want to say...
Can we make something clear? We're not doing like our top 5 players in the NBA, just top 5 of the first half. There's a difference.
Yeah. So not by resume, is what you're saying. Not of all time or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Not by career.
Active players of all time. Yeah, we are doing currently right now in the NBA.
I want to make that clear.
I've been fidgeting this list up until the moment we have tape. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting. Later in the show, we have bold predictions coming up. You want to stay tuned for that. Do you want to start us off with number 5? Let's just jump right into it.
I'm nervous, man. I don't want anyone to get mad at me.
I know.
Number 5.
These players have egos.
Number 5, I went down to the great state of Texas and found my number 5 player. I put LUKA DONCIC in there at number 5. He's averaging 29, 9, and 9. Yeah, he does have the Mavericks 8th in the West, but you got to realize Kristaps has been injured through, he's been in and out of the lineup, so it's really just been Luka and a bunch of college guys. So no disrespect to the Mavericks, but you know who their second best player is. No insult, they have a lot of good 3-and-D guys. They have your boy from Villanova, Jalen Brunson, who's doing well. I know you're a big Villanova fan, so I had to shout that out. But back to
Go
Luka.
Pirates.
back to Luka. What Luka's done just to put the Mavericks in playoff contention, they're going to be a tough out. And Luka is a stud, and he's very, very young. What is he, 21? So I think Luka has been the 5th best player currently of the first half. He is averaging a triple-double, basically. So
I'm fidgeting around this list still in my head. At number 5,
just say it, man.
I am going with Bradley Beal. I know he's not going to be on a lot of people's lists. He's an all-star starter. He was snubbed last season. And I think you have
to. There's 10 all-star starters, right?
Well, I'm just saying, I was making a point.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
And I think you have to put somebody who's leading the league in scoring in your top 5 list. And I think you can sit here and say, oh, and I've said this before about the Michael Jordan, LeBron James argument. Combine their names. Well, that would be the best way of all time. I've said this about the Jordan and LeBron argument, is that Michael Jordan played at a time where I think defense was a little more important. Offense is more, or not important now, but it's more of an offensive league now. I think you can make that argument to you're like, oh, the leading scorer. But then you can look at it on the other side and say, for all these players going and getting their buckets every night to lead the league in scoring, to me is quite impressive. Not only does he lead the league in scoring, it's almost like 3 points a game. It's over 2 points a game versus Joel Embiid, who's second in that or on that list. So I think that's why I know his team is struggling to come up as of late, but I think that's why you have to put Bradley Beal on the list.
I don't know.
Your reaction is really dumb.
I'm a Wizards fan. I love Bradley Beal, but top 10, yes. Top 5.
I think to go out and get your buckets, I like that impressive considering your team isn't winning.
He also has the most opportunities every night because he's playing on a bad team. Like the Wizards might sneak in the playoffs if they do, but
he's also getting the best defender on the court.
Yeah, but he has the most opportunities on a bad team.
I still think it's impressive.
Go Bradley. No, I'm a Wizards fan. I wish they were better, but I just top 5, no. Top 10, of course. Top 5, no. Number 4 for me, I had to go here. This is my boy right here. This is my favorite player in the NBA. I went Dame time. Good. I have a sweatshirt on. I have a watch. But I went Dame time at number 4. Damian Lillard. First of all, can we mention Portland is 5th in the West, and CJ McCollum has been out for 2 to 3 weeks now, and he's going to be out for probably a couple more. If you watch the game, well, this will air tomorrow, but on Wednesday night, what did he Wednesday? When they played Golden State on ESPN, Dame hitting those clutch shots, proving he's better than Steph Curry, bringing it when it mattered the most. He struggled the whole game, and Dame just, every time he goes against Steph Curry, boom, he won that game. The only time Steph Curry beat him was when he was crewed up and Dame didn't have a chance. So I'm just going to point that one out. if you're asking me who the best point guard in the NBA is, I'm going Dame time. So number 4, he's averaging 29, 8 assists, getting his teammates involved. And like I said, you got to realize not just CJ McCollum's been out. Nurkic has been out. Zach Collins has been out. A lot of guys have missed time. And the Western Conference is definitely better than the Eastern Conference. We can all say that. And to have your team 5th going into All-Star break, my boy Dame Dollar is making his money, and I'll talk about him later. But I'll just keep it at that for now.
I think that was the player that I guess I struggled with the most.
Come on, man. He gets
disrespected
every year.
I don't have him on the top 5 list. He would be number 6 for me. I struggled. He's the player that I was going back and forth with Bradley Beal to see who I was going to put on the list. I just think it struggled.
5th in the West, man.
It pained me not to put him in my top 5. It really did. I think you can make an argument that he is a top 5 player currently in the NBA.
I think he is.
And I agree with your point. I think he is a better point guard right now than Steph Curry. I'm going to move on to number 4, and I put Kevin Durant. I know we're saying top 5 players in the first half, and people can make the argument that Kevin Durant has missed a lot of time, and he's missed games, but I think that's the only reason he's not like 2 or 1. I think it drops him to number 4. He's still averaging 29 points and shooting over 52% from the field. He still makes an impact when he's on the floor. And it gives defensive nightmares to teams, especially he has his team 2nd in the West. Well, obviously, they have a very talented team. But East. See, I'm so frazzled by this. Let's answer the best or the right conference.
I know what you meant.
Yeah. I think I still think when he's on the floor, he makes that much of an impact to where he has to be in your top 5. And I think the only reason he isn't 2 or 1 of the first half is because he has missed so much time with injury and so.
You were saying Dame was the guy. Kevin Durant would be 6 for me. I struggle with it because he's missed so much time recently. He's missed about 2 weeks now, and he's still averaging 29. But if you're asking me, this is when we go back to the beginning of the show. If you're asking me Kevin Durant, top 5 player in the NBA, I'm saying yes. I think he's actually number 2, to be honest, behind someone that we all know, the King.
I just don't want his burner accounts.
You
gotta put him in there.
The King. I think he's number 2 in the NBA. If you're asking me top 5 NBA players, I just struggled putting him in top 5 of the first half currently this season.
The list is fluid, as people say.
As Stephen A says all the time.
Number 3.
Yeah, number 3. This is the one that you're not gonna like. I'm gonna tell you right now. You're not gonna like this one.
I'm scared.
You know when Chuck guarantees to have things? I guarantee you don't have this player on your list. NIKOLA JOKIC is number 3 for me. No,
but it's not as much like, I hate that.
I didn't even think
it's just too many people to put in here.
True. I put NIKOLA JOKIC at number 3, and this is, I think, the player that everyone's gonna be like, why'd you put him so high, or like, why is he in the top 5? The man is basically averaging 27, 11, and 9. And can I just say something? The Nuggets are coming. I know they struggled to start the season. They were like, all the way down at the bottom of the West. The Nuggets have won 3 in a row. They're 6-4 in their last 10, which is good because you got to realize how the NBA schedule is made. Sometimes you get hard teams back-to-back. Sometimes you get easier teams back-to-back. They've won 3 in a row. They just beat the Bucks by 31 on Tuesday night, which, I want to say the Bucks are a contender. Well, some people want to say I won't, but they are 3rd in the East. I believe they're 3rd in the East. So NIKOLA JOKIC is coming. Obviously, he's the leader on that team. I know Jamal Murray has played a lot better from the compared to the beginning of the season to the end of the season or end of the first half. But people got to realize, like, it takes more than one to, get a good record, especially in the West. You can't run a one guy. You see LeBron and the Lakers struggling right now because without AD. So I think with Jamal Murray being the 2nd best player on the team, that's all he has to be. NIKOLA JOKIC, my man, and he has the best court vision as a center in the NBA. I think he deserves to be on this list at number 3.
At number 3, I put Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think, I know you're not the biggest fan of Giannis. Stats-wise, he's still having a good season. I know you're saying the argument of making whatever, or make more minutes, less stats. He's still averaging over 29 points and nearly 12 rebounds and 6 assists a game. And in my opinion, if he's still putting up productive stats at the top, I believe he's 5th in the league in scoring, if I'm not mistaken. He's at the top of the league in a lot of categories. And I think you still have to put the player who's won back-to-back MVPs at the top of your list. And I know people will say, Giannis can't bring it in the playoffs. Giannis can't.
I'm not even saying that.
Changes or his game changes when he's in the playoffs. He doesn't play as well. Remember, this is the top 5 current season list. If it was a playoff contender list, I don't know if he would be on there. But I think he's in a position now where they've been, a high seed in the conference the past 2 seasons. He hasn't gotten it done. Now they're still a high seed in the conference, but I think it's more of people are it's like the Clippers argument to me. People are not expecting them to do as much. So maybe that opens the door for Giannis. I think it's a lot of strategy. You have to use him wisely. If you're the coaching staff of Milwaukee, you have to use him wisely in the playoffs because playoff basketball is a little tighter. It's more defensive minded. Yeah. But I think, I know people say get a jump shot. I don't think that's the key for Giannis. I think, hey, he got his bag, and I think he still had an impressive first half.
I just think he's played more minutes. His stats are a little down from his MVP season. Not much.
Yeah, but you're also comparing an MVP and then you're bringing him back down. It's not like his stats are still spectacular. It's not also. It's like you're taking a top player in the NBA and say, "Oh, his stats are down." They're still Giannis stats.
Yeah, but also if you think about it, Drew Holiday's missed time. He's the number one player. Some stats are inflated. Like he's gonna get the most opportunities on that team. Like Drew Holiday's been out.
So most of these players were reading off.
Yeah, but it's like different. Like Giannis is like the number one guy every night in Milwaukee. Like even if you look at Nikola Jokic, who I put, like Jamal Murray he can be a number one guy on many teams in the NBA. Like I just think Giannis is going to get his opportunities no matter what. And I'm kind of over it.
I think you can take it as the number one defender is going to be on them every night. It's back to the Bradley Beal argument. I was saying this last year when we were in studio, when I was with Fredo and Bradley Beal, it was announced that he didn't make the All-Star team. And many people said last season he was the biggest snub of All-Star weekend. I think
I would put Bradley Beal over Giannis. I'm just saying that right now.
I think I could move that around. Yeah. I think it's debatable. I think you could say, oh, well, he's still getting the number one look every night. He's still getting double teams. He's still getting – yeah, but he's still getting they're planning and game playing from him. It was, to me, it was like the Chris Middleton Bradley Beal argument last year when Chris Middleton made the All-Star team. I was like, ridiculous. I was like, Bradley Beal is still getting those tough defensive looks and tough defense strategy against him every night. He's the number one player you game plan for. Giannis is the same way. And I know you're going to get the most looks, but like I said, most people on this list are number one options. You don't think Dame's getting a lot of looking Portland, not to diss him, but like
you don't think he has a running mate with him.
And but McCollum's missed time throughout the season if you're doing this current NBA season list.
I think Milwaukee being third in a weak Eastern Conference, not weak, it's getting better, but a weaker Eastern Conference, and Damian Lillard, a one-man show. Like I was mentioning with the Nuggets, like Jamal Murray hasn't been playing that well. So Nikola Jokic is like, have really had to step up, but the Nuggets are coming because of Jamal Murray. Like you got to realize Damian Lillard has Portland fifth in the West all by himself. So I just think,
I'm not dissing.
No, I know. I'm just thinking it's different. Like he's playing in a better conference and has them in the playoffs right now, but literally by himself. Because like 3 of his top, if you want to say 5 guys on the roster, 6 guys on the roster are out. So like I think Giannis just like he's 7 foot. Like obviously he has skill obviously. So I think him being like he's gonna get looks every night. And many people can't defend him. I think Giannis is like, I don't think he's top 5 this season just because like he gets the most opportunities. His minutes are actually up by like 3 or 4 minutes a game, which is a lot of game time. And I just think with Drew Holiday missing time, and Drew Holiday's a playoff guy. He's not, honestly, he's not even really a regular season guy if you want to consider. He plays in the regular season, but he steps up big in the playoffs. I mean, Chris Middleton's going to get his looks, but I think Chris Middleton's a little overrated. I think Milwaukee's a little overrated, to be honest. But I just think like, it's all in Milwaukee. It's literally all Giannis. So like, if you put anyone in that situation, if you put Ben Simmons in that situation, Ben Simmons is on the top 5 list. So I don't know.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree at the end of the day.
I'm just saying, if you put Ben Simmons in Milwaukee, he's on this top 5 list. All right, are we on number 2? I lost track. All right, number 2, I have LeBron. I have LeBron James at number 2, and I'm going to make this very, very clear. I think LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. I just think he was the second best player of the first half. He's averaging obviously 26, 8, and 8. Those are normal LeBron stats. He has the Lakers 4th in the West. See, I feel like weird explaining LeBron. So, it's like we all know LeBron.
You just say LeBron.
Yeah, we all know. Yeah, LeBron move on. And obviously the Lakers are 4th in the West, but they were better when Anthony Davis was playing. I believe they were first, weren't they? They were first or second. I don't know which one. So I really don't have to say much about LeBron. He's the king. I think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he had the second best. And I think it's impressive what LeBron's doing without Anthony Davis. I know they lost last night to the Kings, or technically 2 nights ago when we had the show. That's a little bad, but for them to like destroy the Warriors without Anthony Davis when Dennis Schroeder came back, I think when Anthony Davis gets back, the Lakers are going to be just fine. So I don't really have much to say about LeBron.
I'm going to go with Joel Embiid at number 2, and I think he's having an MVP caliber season, 30 points, 11 rebounds, and he has his team number 1 in the Eastern Conference. I said the right conference at the time. I know you're going to put him at number 1, and that's probably your best player the first half. It's obviously an argument. He's really upped his game this season. We saw, many people are always hating on Philadelphia, always hating on their process of when they're going to speed up. But it's nice to see, in a guard-oriented league and a fast-paced oriented Western-style kind of league. It's nice to see a big man step up and have a terrific first half to the season, and we'll see if he can carry it on throughout the first half.
Yeah, my number 1 player,
second half.
Yeah, he did in the first.
Yeah.
My number 1 player of the first half is Joel Embiid. I think no one's been better than him. The man is putting up over 30 a game. He's finally dominating the game. He's finally in shape. And I said this on the last show. Doc Rivers was the best acquisition of the offseason if you want to say coaches and players. Obviously, you don't really look – I guess you can say, but you mainly look at players. Like, what's the best acquisition? I think Doc Rivers was the best acquisition for the 76ers. They're first in the East. I said this on the last show as well. I think the 76ers are going to the finals. Do I think they win? I can, find out later or predict that later. But I think Joel Embiid has been the MVP of the first half. He's giving it to players every night. He came off a 19, basically a 40-20 game, 1 rebound away. I think, like I said, first in the East, even though the Nets are supposed to be first in the East. I know Kevin Durant's missed time, but they have a big 3, and Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are still first in the East. And I think they're finally making it work with Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers was the biggest blessing for Joel. And his personality, amazing. I know Donovan Mitchell shouldn't have been ejected the other night, but what Joel Embiid did with it was hilarious. I'm just saying.
Another player that obviously could make an argument with the top 5 has Utah first. In the Western Conference, I think, number 1, I put LeBron James. He's averaging nearly a triple-double, and LeBron James will be the MVP every season if people didn't get bored of the same person winning the MVP. Can we be honest? The numbers, I think you get to change it up and spice it up, and Giannis has won back-to-back MVPs. And
LeBron should have won last year.
But I think there's definitely an argument for that, especially out here in LA. People are going to
I'm just saying,
definitely think that.
Not even out here in LA.
His stats are still impressive. Anthony Davis has missed time. I don't think they should rush him back. I think they should, they're fine. They're still 4th and 9 in the center, 3 and 7 in the last 10. And people are like, should we hit the panic button on the Lakers? No. LeBron's still, when he gets locked in, it's like we saw in the bubble last season, it's something to watch. And I think you can't do an NBA list without putting LeBron James number 1. Well, there's there's only one debate, especially current. We'll say you can't do a current
He's the best
NBA
player
list.
in the NBA,
without putting LeBron James on. We are going.
Can I point something out real fast? We were both Clippers fans last year, and Kawhi didn't make any of our top 5. What if Fredo and Shireen are watching this and they're like, I said Kawhi was number 1 last year, like a fool. So it's just interesting how dynamics change.
Yeah, it's debatable. Obviously, you could put anyone really. There's a lot of players competing 100%. For those top 5 spots. We are going to take a break. If you agree with our list, go ahead and comment below and see what you guys think coming up. I mean, go Bradley Veal. Hey, come on the show. I'll interview. We'll kick Dustin off. We're gonna.
I'm gonna hide if he actually does. And be like,
we're gonna take a break, guys. And coming up, we're gonna do a bold prediction, which is going to be interesting. So stay tuned.
Wanna find me, Joe? I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me. I'm in the front row. The best place to be. I'm in the front row. Best place to be. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I'll be in the front row chilling out.
Welcome back to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. This is a brand new episode of Double Trouble. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already so you can follow us every Friday and see what we are talking about. We just recapped our top 5 current NBA players for you. The first half is the NBA is going to the All-Star break, and now we're going to do a bold prediction of the NBA.
How about you start this time? I started on the first one, so.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I don't think mine's as bold as yours. Mine, you were talking pre-show.
Mine's bold.
Mine's a little bold. It has to do with the current NBA season and what's going to happen in the playoffs. My bold prediction is that the Boston Celtics will make the NBA finals.
God, that's bold.
Did
you miss our show last time?
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a little outlandish, a little
100%.
Take you back. Bold. Yeah, they're currently, I believe, 4th in the Eastern Conference. I want to double check that.
Yeah.
4th in the Eastern Conference at 18 and 17. They're 5-5 in their last 5. But once they get Kemba back and healthy,
he's putting 20 up in the last 4 or 5 games.
Well, I'm saying,
healthy,
in the rhythm is what I'm saying. Is the word I'm looking for. They have Jason Tatum, who I think you saw in the bubble last year. He's a rising NBA superstar, if not already an NBA superstar.
100%.
Jaylen Brown is my man. people on the channel who have been following the channel and
what
we've been talking about know that I've been on Jaylen Brown or liking him for a while.
If he ended up on the Wizards, I would be happy.
I mean, that would be a dream. I'm just saying.
You won't, but I'm saying.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, Wizards fans should be happy with that. And I know you say Brad Stevens is like the person you don't want to see at the high school reunion, or like kind of the person that gets old. But I think
I never said, wait, what?
Or like the washed up person you said. I don't know. You said last season.
I'm gonna clarify this. I said you can only play the young baby role for so long.
I think, but I still think
now he's like in the league and he's been in the league for 4 or 5 years. You can't play the young baby role for 4 to 5 years. But yeah. High school reunion.
He's a talented coach, and I think Boston has a coaching staff.
Everyone's talented at that level.
Well, yeah, and I think that they're figuring it out. They won't go in with as much expectation. The East is weaker than the Western Conference, so obviously I know in the NBA it's very, very difficult because I make this point all the time. You have to win 4 games against a team. It's not like the NFL. You can go and you can win 1 game and move forward. The best team usually wins. But if you look at the Eastern Conference, people are talking about 2 teams. You're talking about Philadelphia and Brooklyn. I've already made my opinion clear on Brooklyn. I think chemistry issues and the way they match is going to impact them, especially the first season of the playoffs. Or the first season they're together in the playoffs.
It was like Miami in the first season.
In the next few seasons, I think they'll be able to make a run. And who knows if Kyrie will be healthy in the playoffs. Kevin Durant, who knows if he'll be healthy in the playoffs. They have injury concerns that they have to watch out for. Philadelphia is talented, but if Boston can go in and steal a series, they've played Philadelphia before, they've beaten Philadelphia in a playoff series before. So I think they're going to be confident going in, and that is my bold prediction. Boston will make the NBA Finals. Will they win? Definitely not. Or probably not, I should say.
I can't believe you said that, but if you want my opinion on the Celtics, you can go to last week's show. I just think Brad Stevens needs to go before the Celtics are going to become relevant.
Not when they make the finals. Go ahead.
I can't. All right, my bold prediction. It doesn't have to do with this NBA season, this current one. Either this offseason or next offseason. I don't know which one yet. I haven't dialed in yet. Damian Lillard will be out of Portland, and he will be playing for the New York Knicks. I'm so glad to sink it.
Yeah.
You have no reaction? I thought you had more.
I was going to let you talk.
Okay. Reasons. First of all, I know Damian Lillard, and he's played this role of I'm staying in a small market. And I respect that. I 100% respect that. He's like, I'm going to stay in a small market. I'm going to bring a chip to Portland. That's my goal. He's never going to win in Portland. Let's be honest. And Damian Lillard is my favorite NBA player. I love him. I respect him so much. His attitude and just the way he's I don't want to join a super team, when they built a team in Brooklyn or obviously with the Lakers with LeBron and AD. He doesn't want to join a super team. I totally respect that. But my man, if you want a championship, I think he's going to start thinking my legacy. If you're chasing Steph Curry for the current decade, and obviously Steph Curry has his championships, you're going to start looking around and be like, man, can I really win here? Portland's either going to have to get a steal in the draft, because obviously they're going to be picking mid to late first round. So they have to get a steal in the draft and find someone late, or they're going to have to I don't know how they're going to do this in a small market, will a free agent who turns out to be, greater than I guess they did in the past couple seasons. I think my man needs to start looking outward. I think him and CJ McCollum, I think they're the best backcourt in the NBA. But I just think there's not enough around them. And I don't think they can win together. They've tried it for years now. They did get to the Western Conference Finals one year and got swept by Golden State when they were crewed up. I just think there's always going to be that one team in their way. I think Portland's always going to be, in my opinion, the second or third hardest team to knock out in the West or the best team in the West. But with him there's always going to be that one team in the way. It's Golden State. Now it's when Kevin Durant was there. The Lakers, when obviously currently, if you want to say the teams now. I just think my man needs to start looking to the Eastern Conference, which will be a little weaker, and a bigger market, which is New York. Could you imagine? Just imagine this. Damian Lillard, and they get another superstar or two. The Knicks, they have money. They have a better foundation now with all the changes they've made. Could you imagine my man, Damian Lillard, bring another superstar in who's going to be a free agent? I would have to look up the list, obviously, but bring another superstar in on a max deal. Because if you bring someone there, I feel like you can bring something along with him. But the Knicks are never going to get a max free agent. We've seen they tried LeBron when LeBron went to Miami at first. They've tried, there was hope for Kevin Durant, and he was like, I'm going to go to New York, but I'm going to go to Brooklyn. They've tried before, but they just never have gotten that big free agent. Their biggest free agent signing was what? Carmelo Anthony. Like, no offense to Carmelo, he's a great player, but he's not like LeBron. So I think if you're the Knicks, I'm gonna be like, go get Damian Lillard in a big market. He can be a big time personality, obviously like marketable and like what he can do, and let him play in MSG and go off every night. He's a big time player. We've seen that. My man should be on the Knicks.
Multiple points. I think if they have an attractive one, I know it would be a trade package.
Yeah, he's signed for like next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
100%.
but I think what's going to make Portland want to trade with them, or the Knicks have enough charisma and persuasion to get him in a package, they're going to have to give up a lot. Do they want to give up a lot? I think that's the thing you're going to think about. Second, I think he's already made his opinion clear. I think he's been outspoken against joining a possible super team or a big market like that.
Things change quickly in a year or two.
Yeah, but if you're thinking about your legacy, do you really want to go back on your word? Is that something he's going to, or well?
I mean, Paul George does.
Yeah, well,
he's like, I want to be in OKC forever. I want to be in Indiana forever.
He's made it abundantly clear that him and CJ McCollum have gelled. They're very close on the court, off the court. And I also think if Portland is healthy, I think they've had injury concerns over the past few seasons when it hits the playoffs. I think they're a challenging team, and one year
it's always second or third.
Yeah, but one year they could sneak in to the finals, and if they're playing a team in the Eastern Conference, maybe they can give them a run. I think I've said this, I think the Lakers are going to be the favorite. I know they're fourth in the Western Conference currently. I think AD's injury obviously has a lot to do with that.
100%.
But I think they're still going to be the favorite when it comes to the postseason, especially in the Western Conference, to get out of the Western Conference. And I think I've made this clear. I think if there's one team that can beat Portland or beat the Lakers, it is Portland. And I think if they get back healthy, I think they can sneak by. Obviously, we saw what happened last season when I thought they were going to beat the Lakers. But I think if they get them in the finals, you'll never know. I think Dame is clutch enough to win a series like that.
Dame and MSG.
And, yeah, but I just think it's too much to ask for if you're the Knicks. Do you really want to give – do you realize the package they're going to have to send to get a top 5
Do you also realize, like, superstars are getting – in the NBA especially, I know it's starting to transfer to the NFL with Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson and all these trade rumors. And obviously Matthew Stafford's out. He's not like Deshaun Watson level. But you know what I'm saying. So I think it's starting to be a player-driven business. Like, they're like, oh, like, we do have rights too. Like, it's a player-driven business. You know, with the James Harden out of Houston, we saw him. AD was like, no, I'm going to the Lakers. Like, even Boston, your great team, Boston, had interest in AD. He's like, no, I want to go to the West Coast. Like, I want to be a Laker. I think if Damian Lillard speaks out and he's like, hey, like, I don't see myself winning a championship here,
I think
going to the Knicks.
I think he's going to give it a run in Portland. And I think –
you know what? If Damian Lillard wins a championship as a Knick, he'll be the biggest superstar in the NBA besides LeBron James.
I think if he wins a championship in Portland, it'll be even better. And he's not going to be bigger than LeBron James. Let's not make that abundantly clear.
No, but he won't be the second biggest superstar in the NBA if he wins one in Portland. But if he wins one as a Knick in a big market, and you know, I know the Nets are on the come up, and obviously they have the better team right now. No one's going to argue that. But New York will always be a Knicks town. Like, as soon as the Knicks start playing well again, you see all the hype right now, and they're like a 500 team.
Yeah, like they look like they were in the championship the other night in that video.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Damian Lillard wins a championship as a Knick, he would be the second biggest superstar besides LeBron.
I don't see
if LeBron is still in the league by then, and it happens.
I guess we will see. We're gonna wrap it up.
Go to New York, the Mecca.
It's a smart business move for him. I'll say that. But obviously the organizations still are powerful and they have to agree to that business move, I think, is where the speculation comes from. And also he's made comments about, you know, the super team.
I know,
So we'll see what happens. You can never predict the future, but those are our bold predictions. Guys, go ahead and follow us on social media. The links are in the description and in the front row in the front row LA to see what is going on with us. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a beat, and we will see you next Friday. 6
If you wanna find me, Joe, I'm in the front row. Got 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. Best place to be. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I'll be in the front row, chilling out.